President Trump celebrating a successful military show of force in D.C., honoring the Army's 250th anniversary with a festival on the National Mall and a massive military parade. The day coinciding also with his 79th birthday. And in his address, the president applauded the strength and resilience of America's troops. We welcome now Democratic strategist Madeline Somerville and Republican strategist Matt Klink. Great to have you both. Madeline, I'd like to start with you. So the president said yesterday about this parade that every other country celebrates their victories. It's about time America did too. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. Supporters say this is a show of strength, support for our military, great for recruitment, by the way. What was your take?
Thanks so much for having me. So I was there on the ground in DC, and I did appreciate the feeling of patriotism that was pervasive throughout the city. Actually, whether you were at a protest or whether you were at the parade, do I think that America is in a place where it's suffering an identity crisis, and we could all benefit from rallying behind something that we could all get behind, like the troops? Yes. At the same time, I think we can all agree that Trump is a master at branding, and what he's trying to do by coincidentally having this on his birthday, which it would have made much more sense to have it next year at the 250th anniversary on July 4th, what he's doing is conflating the brands, right? So as a persuasion expert, what I know that he's really good at is branding, and he's trying to conflate the Trump brand with the America brand. When you think of Trump, or think of America, when you think of America, think of me. And all of this is a show, and he knows it.
All right, Matt, I'll give you a chance to respond, and then I'll throw a couple other criticisms your way to respond to as well.
Yeah, sure. Well, look, I mean, yesterday was the 250th anniversary of the Army. It was created before the country of America was created. Yesterday was also Flag Day. Yesterday also happened to be Donald Trump's birthday. But on the left, if Donald Trump went to church on Sunday, they'd criticize him for going to church on Sunday. Yesterday was an amazing event. It showcased the evolution of the Army over the entire 250-year history of America and some of the amazing battles that were won by the United States Army. As the world's, arguably one of the world's greatest military forces ever. It was beautiful. It was patriotic. And I got words for Democrats. If you think that this is going to get under your craw now, just wait, because we're coming up on a whole heck of a lot of celebrations for the 250th year. And it's worth celebrating because we live in the greatest country in the face of the earth ever.
Matt, I'll hit you with one criticism because this has been made on both sides of the aisle, in addition to what Madeline laid out, that this parade was costly, millions of dollars. I believe it's more than 45 million. What's your response to those who say we're already trillions of dollars in debt? This shouldn't be a priority for spending.
My response to that is that's the concern. That's a typical Washington, D.C. complaint when they don't like how money is being spent. That's not even a rounding error on the annual deficit nor on the federal debt. So, I mean, look, this was a beautiful event. The Army deserved to have its day, and they studded out. They were awesome across the board. Anybody who looks at that and doesn't say, I'm proud to be an American, needs to question their American values.
So, Madeline, the president is heading to Canada today in preparation for tomorrow's G7 summit. What will you be monitoring? Any hopes of de-escalation between Israel and Iran? How about Ukraine and Russia as well?
I'm certainly hoping that there will be talks of de-escalation all around, especially considering what we saw this morning with Iran's response with the missiles that they've sent. It seems like actually in both cases with Ukraine and Russia, as well as with Iran and Israel, we have leaders talking out of both sides of their mouths. I think here with Iran, though, I understand that Americans probably have weapons of mass destruction fatigue. We were all told in 2003 that there were weapons of mass destruction, and we lost lost many members of families. I have lots of family in the military that was part of Iraqi freedom. We fought against weapons of mass destruction that never existed. And so I can understand that Americans struggle to believe that exists now. But I would hope that at this summit that there would be some proof here that we could see, where we could see that actually Israel probably did the world a favor in the extremely precise attacks that they've conducted. So hopefully at this summit we'll see some proof for what Israel's done.
All right, Matt, I wish we could get you in here. We're up against the clock. Madeline, Matt, Klink, thank you both very much for joining us. We will have you back. Appreciate it.